So this is Christmas. I'm not gonna sing. This is a long video. I'm not gonna sing. It just was Christmas. And I'm still doing these push-ups. I got a lot to talk about. Not really because I have so much to say, just because this is a long video and it'd be a real shame if I just left it empty and there was actually someone who decided, like, I'm gonna see if this is real. I'm gonna see if he's actually doing these. If there's someone who's actually gonna like sit through this, I gotta show up for you. And I feel like I'm also doing myself a service by, doing this because I can look back and see what my thoughts were on the day. And it's technically the 31st of December. It just passed midnight. And I'm gonna cover like 6 days of push-ups. I said like for no reason whatsoever. I didn't need to say like. It is 6 days of push-ups that I'm covering. And click the link below to work one-on-one with me. This is it. I did 26 sets of 10 on Christmas, 25 sets of 10 the next day, a total of 300 the following day, a total of 26 sets of 10 on the 28th, 25 sets of 10 on the 29th, and 25 sets of 10 yesterday. And that is a total of 1,570 push-ups. 1,570. That's a lot of push-ups to be adding. Yeah, I gotta not like put these off so much, but if I do have an excuse, I am sick still, which is like kind of a shame. I don't really know what this is. It might be a cold. My cousins came over for Christmas and they were like previously sick, so could have caught something from them. The younger one was, still kind of getting over it. So I probably just caused something, but I'm getting better now. I was like pretty bad though. I was not having any fun. I mean, like mouth breathing, and I still am kind of mouth breathing. I'm gonna show you my nostrils. That's like congested, right? That's pretty congested. And it goes and comes and goes. And yeah, it's just been kind of annoying up to this point. But one day I was stuck in bed and I still did the push-ups. But yeah, it's just not been fun. I've just been breathing through my mouth like some barbarian, like some kind of cave dweller, someone living under a rock. I have not been mewing. This is actually like kind of sucks for me because I actually do practice mewing, not even joking. This is something I picked up even like as far back as high school and college. I heard about mewing and orthotropics. I believe that's what it's called. Orthotropics. It's like the mouth posture where your tongue lies in your mouth and your jawline and all that stuff, and eating tough foods to build the jaw muscles and making sure your teeth are aligned and you don't have an overbite or underbite, all that stuff, all that cool stuff. It just kind of sucks to be mouth breathing because my nose is so congested, but honestly, that's kind of on me. I have not been keeping up with my breath work. If you've never done breath work, it actually kind of clears up your sinuses for a little while you're doing it. And I think one of the reasons is you're actually working through all that mucus and, nasty stuff. And you're literally working through it by breathing. By doing a lot of breathing, you will just naturally work through it. And as you continue doing that, it'll feel better. And if you do it for a whole hour, you'll actually feel like really good for like 2 hours. And then, it'll come back just because an infection is going to cause inflammation. But, it is what it is. I just haven't been keeping up with it. I haven't been on top of a lot lately. I am happy to say I've been on top of the push-ups, which is like one of the only things I care about really, but yeah, not been on top of everything lately. The push-ups are good. I've been doing my 200 plus a day, every single day, consistent now for over a month. and just feeling good about it. Just glad with how these push-ups are going. It's been feeling really easy lately, and I don't know if that's because I've been losing some weight. I have gone all the way down to like 190. I fasted today, or yesterday, excuse me. I fasted, so I'm feeling extra light. And I'm probably down to like 190 pounds. I might have even broken 190. I might be like 188. But it is what it is. I have been feeling strong doing the push-ups. I've been feeling really good just moving, even though physically, like, I'm not super strong just because of whatever I've caught. And yeah, I've just been like on top of it, 200 push-ups plus a day is not that much. I think a lot more people can do this than think they could do this. It really is just setting aside the time and actually getting them done. And it's not bad at all, really. It's really just kind of okay. And I've been wanting to do more. That's the thing, is one of my goals for next year is to do 100,000 push-ups in a year, right? It's right at the top of my list for my goals. And that's going to be tough. But let me whip out my calculator real quick. That sounds so lame. Jeez. Let me whip out my calculator real quick. Okay. So if I do 350 push-ups for 30 days in a row, that's 10,500 push-ups. 10,000 push-ups in a month. Okay. If I do, what is that? 100,000, which is my goal, right? For the next year, 100,000 divided by 350 equals 285 days. So 285 days to do 100, it's actually 285.7. So 186 days gets me to 100,000 push-ups. That's good to know. That means if I average 350 push-ups a day for 286 days, I've done 100,000 push-ups. And that's gonna be tough. Not maybe because it's so physically challenging, but because you gotta be on top of it every day. Like, you can't let something like that start slipping. Once it starts slipping, you let go of it. That's a big, heavy load to carry. That's a big burden. And yeah, you gotta be really on top of it. These kinds of goals, these kinds of challenges are not too easy to get done, mostly because people aren't just willing to sacrifice what they need to sacrifice. They're not willing to put in the time. They're not willing to put the emotional investment, which this actually carries a lot of an emotional investment, to know I'm going to be doing push-ups for like 1,000 hours this year. Maybe not 1,000, but let's say 500 or even 100 hours. That's so much time. That's so much time. 100 hours. It's ridiculous. And it kind of ends up being a little more. I don't know. No, it's like, whatever. I'm not talking about any of that banal minutia. Look that up. That's a fancy way of saying nothing, right? Banal minutia, the finer details, the meaningless tiny details. I'm not getting into that today. This is like going to be a pretty long one. We don't need any of that nonsense, just like rambling. I'm here to talk about some important stuff. I want to talk about Christmas a little bit. It was Christmas. I spent it with my family. I hope you spent Christmas with your family and had a good time and enjoyed yourself in honest and innocent ways, not doing any nasty stuff, not doing any mean stuff, not harassing anyone online, not being a jerk, right? Hope you're treating your relatives nice and correctly. And I hope that, the Lord treated you to a nice Christmas. That's what I can really wish to anyone. I know some people don't celebrate it, but I hope you had a good, set of 6 days that I've been missing here. And yeah, I've just been feeling good. I've been not reading scripture. I wanted to read some scripture today. This is my way of getting to that. I kind of skipped over the scripture part. I went straight to the nonsense. So forgive me. This is Matthew chapter 10. the New International Version. This is just the first thing that comes up when I search it online, and I think this is awesome. I just wanted to spread the good news today. This is Matthew chapter 10. Jesus sends out the 12. Jesus called his 12 disciples to him and gave them authority to drive out impure spirits, to heal every disease and sickness. That is cool. These are the names of the 12 apostles. First, Simon, who is called Peter, and his brother Andrew, James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the tax collector, James, son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him. These 12 Jesus sent out with the following instructions. Do not go among the Gentiles or enter any town of the Samaritans. Go rather to the lost sheep of Israel. As you go, proclaim this message. The kingdom of heaven has come near. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those who have leprosy, drive out demons. Freely you have received, freely give. Do not get any gold or silver or copper to take with you in your belts, no bag for the journey or extra shirt or sandals or a staff, for the worker is worth his keep. Whatever town or village you enter, search there for some worthy person and stay at their house until you leave. As you enter the home, give it your greeting. If the home is deserving, let your peace rest on it. If it is not, let your peace return to you. If anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, leave that home or town and shake the dust off your feet. Truly, I tell you, it will be more bearable of Sodom and Gomorrah on the day of judgment than for that town. I'm sending you out like sheep among wolves. Therefore, be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves. Be on your guard. You will be handed over to the local councils and be flogged in the synagogues. On my account, you will be brought before governors and kings as witnesses to them and to the Gentiles. But when they arrest you, do not worry about what to say or how to say it. At that time you will be given what to say, for it will not be you speaking, but the Spirit of the Father speaking through you. Brother will betray brother to death, and a father his child. Children will rebel against their parents and have them put to death. You will be hated by everyone because of me, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. When you are persecuted in one place, flee to another. Truly, I tell you, you will not finish going through the towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes. The student is not above the teacher, nor a servant above his master. It is enough for students to be like their teachers, and servants like their masters. If the head of the house has been called Beelzebul, how much more the members of his household? So do not be afraid of them, for there is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. What I tell you in the dark, speak in the daylight. What is whispered in your ear, proclaim from the roofs. Do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? Yet not one of them will fall to the ground even outside your Father's care. And even the very hairs of your head are all numbered, so don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. Whoever acknowledges me before others, I will acknowledge before my Father in heaven. But whoever disowns me before others, I will disown before my Father in heaven. Do not suppose that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I will not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to turn a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies will be the members of his own household. Anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Anyone who loves their son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Whoever does not take up their cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds their life will lose it, and whoever loses their life will, for my sake, will find it. Anyone who welcomes you welcomes me, and anyone who welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet as a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and whoever welcomes a righteous person as a righteous person will receive a righteous person's reward. And if anyone even gives a cup of cold water to one of these little ones who is my disciple, truly I tell you, that person will certainly not lose their reward. I'm sorry, I made a lot of mistakes. I feel like this is like a Bible study. This is my first Bible study, so I've read some scripture here before, but I just read this today, and this is really profound. I want to go through it. So, in the spirit of Christmas, let's go over this. You know, some people actually haven't celebrated Christmas yet. The old calendar actually celebrates Christmas on the 7th of January. So, yeah, if you're not celebrating Christmas yet, I believe Serbians, they are still on the old calendar, Russians, some Orthodox Christians. As a Bulgarian, I believe the Bulgarians are not. We celebrated, the 25th, so it is what it is. But yeah, Merry Christmas to the Serbians if you're watching this later on, and the Russians and whoever else is not celebrated yet. But this is the good news. Jesus sent out his 12 disciples, and he gave them authority to drive out impure spirits and to heal every disease and sickness. How incredible is that? Just like, even if you don't believe this happened, how amazing is that? Someone gave other people authority to cure illnesses and drive away evil. That's neat, right? That's neat. And then it goes to name the disciples. Interesting, there are two named Simon, one called Peter and one which is a zealot. I'm new to all this stuff, so just learning. I guess there's 12 of these guys, and one of them betrayed him. And there's even this part later on in this book where Simon, called Peter, he's like Jesus's like first guy. He's like the top guy, I think. And he's like, oh, Jesus, I'm not gonna like tell the Romans about you. He's like, I'm not gonna do it, dude. I'm not gonna give up on you. And then he like totally does. And Jesus says he's gonna do it 3 times. And Simon says, no way. And he doesn't believe him. And he doesn't have faith in him. And that's so profound to me. He doesn't have faith in him. And then when they, end up asking Simon called Peter, hey, do you know this Jesus guy? He says no. And then they ask him again, and he says no. And they chase him down again. And the 3rd time he says no. And he realizes Jesus was freaking right, dude. He got that spot on. And yeah, there's 12 disciples, and he told them, don't go near the Gentiles. And as far as I know, the Gentiles or Samaritans, these are regular citizens. These are normal people. He told them, go to the lost sheep of Israel. Israel being, God's country. And he said, go to the lost sheep. These are the poor. These are the wicked. These are people suffering from ailments and people who are not able to be at the top. If you look at this, if you look at the world that we live in, like a class system where some people are fortunate enough to be at the top, and some people are unfortunate enough to be below them. Jesus is saying, go to the poor. He's not saying go to the people with resources and power. He's saying go to the people who are struggling. And he said, excuse me, I'm reading this again just because I don't want to mess this up. The kingdom of heaven has come near. This is the message. This is the good news. This is the good news Christians are supposed to spread. The kingdom of heaven has come near. And remember, from that first part, Jesus gave them authority to heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse out demons, or leprosy, and drive out demons, and give freely. Give freely. That's so interesting to me. One of the things that I always found annoying, or like it bothered me when I was young, is that I really didn't like the church. I always looked at the church like greedy, money-grabbing people. And when I look at the Pope on his golden throne, or whatever he's got, in his big snake palace, I think, wow, this guy's got a lot of money, and he's gotten it from a lot of other people. And what I see here is Jesus saying, freely you have received, freely give. To his disciples, to the people closest to him, he's advising them, freely give. Like everything. And that's, yeah. He says, don't take any money with you. Don't take anything extra, for the worker is worth his keep. Now, this is an interesting line, for the worker is worth his keep. And, in translation, some meaning could be lost, but I still want to break this down. There are different translations of these, books, the Bible and other holy books. And, of course, the Old Testament, the New Testament, they all have different translations by plenty of people. So every copy you find is going to be a little different, as far as I understand, but we still can obtain some sort of meaning from this. And what I want to really focus in on is, for the worker is worth his keep. The value of the worker is worth his keep. It's worth it to have them around. You get that? The value they bring is enough to ensure they get to stick around. That's called, you show up to work, you don't lose your job. That's what it's called. It's called, you show up to heal people, and you're going to stick around. Now people got a healer, right? How crazy is that? You got a doctor in your friend group, and he's just like a good guy. No one's going to be like, hey, get rid of that guy. You get what I'm saying? This is so relatable when I actually break it down. This message, it's so pure. Whatever town or village you enter, search there for some worthy person and stay at their home until you leave. This is interesting. This is just like what he's telling them to do. If the home's deserving, let your peace rest on it. What does it mean to be at peace somewhere? It means you're free, right? It means you're free. It means you're working actively to make it better. That's what a free person would do. If you really love your house, you work on it. You take care of it. That's what you do. You take care of things. You take care of them. You make them better. You become a prophet. Literally, Profit. You are profitable to be around. You get it? This stuff is all connected. You are now profitable to be around. You are a prophet. That's what happens when you let your peace rest somewhere. I love my house, so what I do is I clean, I cook, I take care of it. My house, my household, my family, right? That's how I feel here. But if I was in some place where I was not comfortable, right, I would not be cleaning and cooking and, taking care of it. Actually, I might just not care about the place. I would not feel good. And very soon after, what he says is, if it is not, let your peace return to you. Keep it with you. Work on yourself. You don't do that. I don't feel comfortable at the airport. I'm not cleaning the airport bathrooms, right? I don't work there. I don't feel comfortable doing that. Now, if you work somewhere, you have peace there, you work, you do things, right? You don't show up at a random office and start doing stuff. You don't have peace there. The security guard's going to take you down, Uh, and he says, even if if they don't listen to you, if they don't welcome you or listen to you, you got to leave there and shake the dust off your feet. Shake the dust off your feet's interesting. Like, you don't even want the dust from that place on you. You want to get far away from it, right? Because this is like crazy. It will be more bearable for Sodom and Gomorrah on the day of judgment than for that town. Literally, these places were destroyed, as far as I know, right? They were destroyed utterly. And it's saying this town, if they don't respect you, if they don't show up, and listen to you, they're really done for. Like that, they're not making it through. I'll tell you what, if Sodom and Gomorrah were utterly destroyed, this place is not lasting. And he sends them like sheep among wolves. He says, be wise. He's telling them wise things. These are very wise things. And he also tells them that they're going to suffer because of what they're doing. By healing people, by making people's lives better, they're actually going to suffer. And that's interesting to me because it's almost like a challenge for them to be flogged in the synagogues, to be handed over to the councils, and be brought as witnesses. And he also says that the Father is going to speak through them. And he says that people are going to betray each other. And that means some of them are going to follow you and some of them will not. And it's tough. It's really tough. You will be persecuted. To be persecuted could not be easy. The student is not above the teacher, nor a servant above his master. It is enough for students to be like their teachers and servants like their masters. This part I found a bit confusing, but he says, do not be afraid of them, for there is nothing to conceal. There's nothing concealed that will not be disclosed. The truth will come out. That's what he's saying. And hidden that will not be made known. What I tell you in the dark, speak in the daylight. He says these things to them, what they're supposed to do, his disciples. And he says to fear God. And he talks about how much the Father actually cares, the Father in heaven. He says, these sparrows are sold for a penny, yet they don't fall to the ground. They fly still. The Father still cares for them to fly. And they're so worthless in man's standards, in our standards of money. They're worth a penny. But in the Father's care, they don't fall. So think about how much you're worth. This is seemingly to give confidence to his disciples. Whoever acknowledges me before others, I will acknowledge before the Father in heaven. He says no one will make it to heaven except through me. And he did not come to bring peace to the earth, but to bring a sword. A man against his father, a daughter against his mother. People are going to turn on each other for Christ. This is Christian life. If you cannot live with people, if they cannot live with God, then they're going to fight. People are going to persecute each other, cast judgment on each other. Anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. This is heavy stuff, right? Anyone who loves their son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And it's true, because if you really believe in this stuff, first of all, if you do not love Christ, what Christ represents, more than your own children, you are essentially condemning them to death. Because the philosophy here is that only through Christ is there salvation. He gave his disciples authority. They did not go and get it themselves. It was given. And the really beautiful part is the end for me. Anyone who welcomes you welcomes me, and anyone who welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. By accepting this guest into your home, this disciple of Christ, you are accepting the Father, the Lord, into your home to work these miracles through your life. Anyone who welcomes whoever welcomes a prophet as a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and whoever welcomes a righteous person as a righteous person receives a righteous person's reward. That's just beautiful. You welcome in a good person, and you receive the reward of a good person. Like, they work good in your life through the Lord, through Christ, but still, does it matter? They're working beautiful miracles into your life. And if anyone gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones who is my disciple, truly I tell you that person will certainly not lose their reward. Yeah, that's like heavy for me, because in Bulgaria there is this saying, "Pini jedna studena voda." It means go, like, drink a cold water. That's what it means. Basically, after communism, when communism collapsed in the 90s, what happened is there was a privatization of all of the inventory of the country, right? Everything was privatized. Businesses showed up, and they basically claimed the entire nation, and they sold it away to the West. They sold it to American companies. They gave away all the nuclear facilities. They gave away all the agriculture. The country basically was decimated. I mean, it's still operating, but gambling is rife. Like, gambling's a huge thing in Bulgaria now, and life is just not the same way it was. Agriculturally, it doesn't produce anything compared to what it did. And there's a saying, drink a cold water. That's what you get in Bulgaria. You get a cold water. You don't get a part of what communism stood for. You get a cold water, and that's it. And that hits me hard, because Christ says, you offer him a cup of cold water, that person will certainly not lose their reward. And it's like a weird irony for me, but it's beautiful. And that's it. Welcome. Thank you for showing up to Bible study, I guess. I did 1,570 push-ups. Adding that to my 52,974 brings me to 54,544 push-ups completed so far. Thank you for watching. Click that link below to work one-on-one with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.